I think you're forgetting that this is the real world we are talking about here, and your philosophy requires the material and social conditions that you are competing in to be fair and just to begin with. The real world isn't like a perfectly competitive game of football.
Maybe not, but it's up to us to make it fair for everyone else.
Precisely.
I think you guys are getting to the core of the problem here. What exactly is fair? Is fair reinforcing hierarchy or pushing for equality at all costs? We are all born equal, yet unique, are we not?
Yep, even identical twins.
I think we have to take a step back here and accept that the reasons both of you gave are rational and justified in their own merit, but the emotions driving each other's politics might not be.
And I sense a deep need to be diplomatic and appeal to both sides. What do you mean?
Well, would you say you're emotionally receptive to hierarchizing things?
As competitive as Diddy's lawyer's salary.
And would you say you're emotionally receptive to treating people equally, Lucy?
Yeah, I care for the feelings and safety of others first and foremost.
There we go. You are both emotionally driven by different things. Adam, you are more competitive, and Lucy, you are more cooperative.
That's one way of simplifying it.
I'm not finished. All our politics is driven by our emotional bias, and that either you are more competitively or cooperatively inclined, or in other words, you prefer to competitively cooperate or cooperatively compete with one another, as you must cooperate in some form in order to compete under shared rules, and you must compete to express individual thought when you cooperate.
Capitalism is competing with one another. Communism is cooperating with one another. Yeah, I get it.
Sounds like you either view yourself as an Avenger aiming to be the one that lands the final blow to knock out Thanos and save the universe, or losing your mind over the quality of every business card you're ever given when compared to yours.
And when we bring gender into this equation, men are more aggressive than women and therefore like to compete more and hierarchize things, while women are more agreeable and want to cooperate more.
I think women can be just as competitive as men, just that we are more competitive about different things, especially towards other women.
All that moaning about cooking and cleaning and being some domestic slave. But as soon as our friends are coming round, it's, look at me! Look at how wonderful I am at cooking and cleaning! I'm all ready to rear children! Yes! Yes, I am!
It's patriarchy that makes men think they can treat women like slaves and not pull their weight around the house with domestic chores. Women nowadays are not only expected to work full-time, but still bear the burden of domestic labor.
That's not cultural. It's your hormones screaming at you to do it. Like Zac Efron when you were a teenager. You really should have taken that poster down in your bedroom of your parents' house years ago.
How do you know I still have a poster of Zac Efron up in my room at my mum's house?
Because, well, I peeked into your old room after I shaboinked your mother. It was just a guess. Anyway, regardless of culture, you can't magically disassociate ourselves from our hormones as adults. Like pretending you never wet the bed until you were 10. It's more like nose hair or ass crack hair.
Ass crack hair? What do you mean?
Most women don't really get ass crack hair, Adam.
So you've never had to experience the endless wipe while taking a shit, where the poop gets stuck to your ass hair? It never ends, never ends, never ends!
No.
Well, no matter what you do, the ass hair grows back. And if you neglect it, it can get out of control. Like our hormones. You can forget about how your hormones drive your behaviour for a while. Then all of a sudden, you're thumping your chest, humming like Matthew McConaughey from Wolf of Wall Street, and sorting women into those you want to strangle. And those you want to strangle and fuck.
That's all wrong!
I think you might find it's alright.
Glad to know I'm in the latter category.
For now. But regardless of culture, your hormones make you care more about things like domestic chores than men do. Hell, you could try to create a culture where men do most of the domestic chores, but it wouldn't last long till women claim it's not to their standard. Unless they invent a temporary drug that'll give you the same neurochemical release that motivates men to do domestic labour like women. there will always be a disparity.
So, it is a cultural problem then. We just have to have a culture where we medicate men for their weaponized incompetence. Impotestes! The drug that makes you think and act like a woman! Side effects may include singing and dancing to 1,000 miles on repeat, wearing thongs, a sudden ability to multitask, subscribing to Noah Samson's YouTube channel, chopping your dick off, indecisiveness about what to wear, indecisiveness about what to lie, indecisiveness about what to eat, thyroid cancer, a yearning to get pegged, impotence, and shriveled testicles that may or may not grow back to normal size when you stop taking impotestes.
It won't matter in the long run, as we'll have AI robots to do our household chores soon anyway. What I'm trying to say is that it feels good to act on behaviours driven by our hormones, and for men, testosterone makes us more aggressive than women, and I need to express this through hierarchizing things.
Aggressive? Well, women are way more passive-aggressive. Men are just dumb at showing their anger.
Look, there is a deep desire to know what is as true as the blood that rushes to my cock just from looking at the voluptuous curves of a beautiful woman. Knowing what is true is knowing what's best and knowing what's worth fighting for. Meaning, life would be pointless without it.
What has this got to do with angry men?
Because expressing anger is fighting for what is true. When you shame men that they are acting patriarchal and should stop, it fundamentally misunderstands and tries to invalidate the male experience. The discussion should be about how to express anger, not why. There's a reason why we neuter animals to domesticate them. Having testicles makes them wild. Trying to wrestle control over our balls is part of what becoming a man is.
Well, I may not have balls.
Are you sure?
I do not have balls.
You wish you did.
Doesn't matter if I have balls or not. I know how to control myself and not interrupt people when they're trying to talk. Some men know how to do this, which proves that it's cultural, and that your whole shtick about men being fundamentally wild is trivial. Sounds more like a you problem.
Me problem? No. Those domesticated men you talk about, those well-behaved, good men, are very likely bottling up their aggression and suppressing their emotions until they do something stupid or abusive. And the good men, they can turn bad if they suppress their aggression long enough, even sexually harass, grape, or kill.
Men should just handle their emotions like women. That's the right way to behave. That's the human experience. Human. Besides, it's obvious when they act patriarchal and toxic to dominate and control.
Shame, 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 shame. Let's just shame every bad man until they behave like the good ones.
To make a matriarchy and egalitarian society.
Well, if the problem was cultural, why is it that there are sexual harassers, rapists, and serial killers regardless of culture? Go anywhere around the world, and yes, in the matriarchal supposed egalitarian immediate return societies, they exile the problematic men. The psychopaths and sociopaths. But these men, when they have learned a sense of morality and virtue and are emotionally strong, can become productive and good members of society. Hell, CEOs at the top are likely to be psychopathic.
And those psychopaths are the problem with capitalism.
Let's not pivot here. We're getting to the meat of the problem, even though you probably don't eat the stuff.
That's none of your business.
Look, this cuts deeper than culture. It's universal amongst all cultures. It is a fundamental issue with the emotional well-being of people. The war that has challenged all of humanity since the dawn of existence.
So how would you win this internal war of emotions, oh mighty supreme leader? And who is the enemy?
The enemy is everywhere. From other people trying to tear down our way of thinking and feeling, and within ourselves as we wrestle with what was right in the past and what is right now.
So, you do concede that the culture needs to shift to adapt to current conditions.
Yes, but there's clearly an objectively right way of raising children to meet their emotional needs to become good people. And some people are naturally good at emotional regulation to the point where it's instinctive, and some people aren't and have to learn it. And if you fail at that, you're likely a criminal. And most criminals are men. It is a failure of masculinization. You don't have a clue. You would feminize these men as a way of handling their emotions.
You could end up like Mr. J, my handsome clown prince.
Yes, but without the makeup. The people who naturally know how to emotionally regulate themselves are clueless. It's why there's so much useless advice from successful social media influencers online. Yet, we watch them as they express emotions in an entertaining fashion. It's why so many young men, with all their emotions, turn to the likes of Andrew Tate, as he is a man being highly emotional and masculine.
It's a pretty infantile take on masculinity.
Even if it's a 13-year-old's ideal of what masculinity ought to be. It's people who have not had an environment where they felt comfortable to express their masculinity who have truly suffered that need a voice. It leads to a life of emotional impotence, resorting to alcohol, drugs, and other degenerate behaviour to fill the void.
Look, it's the women who have truly suffered trying to be feminine in a masculine world. And what is a good way of expressing masculine emotions other than to want to dominate, to express power over women?
You've got to understand that when you express negative emotions, you either choose to fight them or embrace them. The simplest way of fighting is swearing, while crying is the other. Men and women typically like to express negative emotion differently, where it is feminine to embrace and masculine to fight.
Well, it's men choosing to deal with negative emotion by fighting that leads them to seeking power and domination over women. It is the root of all evil in the world. Violence.
Violence is obviously a terrible way of expressing emotions. I am in no way condoning that. But what you fail to see is that there is a good way of expressing emotions that you fight.
Encouraging men to fight their emotions just leads to more aggressive behavior, and there's already enough of that.
And there's the limit of your ideology. That aggressive behaviour means reinforcing a dominance hierarchy, and men then act aggressive just to reinforce the patriarchy. You are as blind as you are naive. Do you think everyone is waiting to be programmed like some hive mind? Some people need to fight their emotions more than you, and there is an excellent way to do it.
And what is that then?
Intellectual violence. Do it. Use your anger and hit the like and subscribe button and complete your destiny into making this one of the fastest growing YouTube channels on the internet. Do it. Do it!